So today we are learning something a little bit new. Okay. Y'all have actually done this before, but there are a couple of new things. So the first three, I really expect that y'all should be able to do the first three because we have done this before, but we haven't done a lot of them. And so today it's going to ask us to solve. Now, y'all see this right here where it says quadratic formula? I will actually teach y'all the quadratic formula after the STAR test. Okay, we're going to go back and we're going to cover some things that we kind of skipped and really use the calculator on. However, if you would like to know this quadratic formula, it is right over here. And believe it or not, by the time you finish Algebra 2, you'll actually have this formula memorized. I know y'all probably can't see it over there, but it says negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. It's a crazy formula, isn't it? But it's something in Algebra 2 you use all the time. And so by the time you finish Algebra 2, you'll actually have that sucker memorized. Today, we are not using the quadratic formula because we have our calculator. And on graphs, this is the very last thing. We've done this before, but it's the very last thing that we can use in graphs. So obviously y equals or f of x when there's two letters. We've done the no equal sign. Well, today when it says equals 0, we can also plug it in. But just like all of these, like you can't plug in y equals, you don't plug in the equals 0. You plug in everything before it, okay? So these first three should be pretty easy. We're just gonna plug them in. And then it says to solve, a solution is where it touches the x-axis. So a solution is just an x-intercept or a 0. So we're going to go type this in. So grab your calculators. And by the way, some of these calculators might start to max out. So if you get a calculator that starts maxing out, let me know and I'll clear it for you. All right. So we're going to type in, let's see here, we're typing in number 1, x squared plus 3x plus 2. And just hit enter. And the answers are just where it touches the x-axis. That's it. Okay. So remember, anytime it touches the x-answer or the x-axis, we call these solutions. So those are my two solutions. So you can probably see where they're at, but you can also use menu 5-1 and then just take the tracer to the x-axis. So I should have an answer of -1 and I should have an answer of -2. So which one has an answer of -1 and -2? Was that B? Okay, so number 2, once again, has this equals 0. So we can go, oh, I have some kids that will say, well, wait a second, that's just a basic equation. Can't we type that under menu 3-1 INSOLVE? You actually can. The problem is INSOLVE only gives you one answer. Now, if you don't know how to do this, then at least INSOLVE gives you half of your answers. So that could be good. But I normally don't ever recommend INSOLVE unless you're just lost on what to do. We normally recommend that you type it in and go find your answers. So, all right. So let's go type this one in. So it's a brand new problem. So I'm going to go type in 2x squared. 2x squared plus x minus 1. All right, so we hit enter. We'll let our menu 5-1 help us out here. So we're going up to the x-axis. So just take that tracer. Come on. Take that tracer to the x-axis. Okay, this is 0.5. What would 0.5 be? A decimal has to be a fraction. It would be a half, right? So look at your answers. Mark off anything that doesn't say a half. So mark off A and B. And then we'll go to the other side. And we get -1. So it looks like the answer would be C. And all you're doing is telling me where it touches the x-axis. The answer looks like the answer would be C. All right, and then we got another one. This is really going to be my last kind of easy one. The next one's kind of weird. So this one right here, we're going to go type this in. So we're going to type in 3x squared minus x and minus 2. Hit enter. So once again, wherever it's touching, those are our two answers. So I'm going to use menu 5.1 to help, at least with this one. That looks like it's touching 1, but we can always confirm it with the tracer. So right there. Now, if you do this with me all the time, then this right here should not surprise you. That's just 0. That e to the negative 12 is nothing. This is what we're looking at. So a negative 0.667. Now, it should be pretty obvious. It's got to be a fraction. So what's the only fraction in our answers? Yeah, B and D has the only fraction, so it's got to be that one. I do want to remind you that you cannot turn a decimal to a fraction in this calculator. You actually can, but it's kind of hard. You can. So I want to remind you of this real quick. You can type in a fraction. So let's say you wanted to type in your answers. Negative 2/3. Does anybody remember how we turn that to a decimal? Anybody remember? So if you hit enter, it keeps it a fraction. Control enter turns that to a decimal. So if you ever need to turn a fraction to a decimal to match it, that's how we do that, okay? So it's control enter. All right, so let me go back to, where was that, right here? All right, so now we're gonna go over to the other side and we get a positive 1. So we should have a positive 1 and then the fraction, negative 2/3. So it looks like the answer should be D. The answer should be D. Whoa. I have no idea what happened there. It's like we flipped out on me. Must have hit the wrong thing. All right, so let's take a look at 4 real quick. All right, so 4 is going to be a little crazy here. We got a symbol that I need you guys to see. I don't know that y'all have ever seen this symbol before, okay? Now, it's not complicated, but if you've never seen it and you don't know what it means, it can freak you out. So this right here is a plus and minus sign on top of each other, okay? It's called plus or minus. And anytime you see it, which the reason that they're showing this is because it's saying the quadratic formula, and it's in the quadratic formula, that symbol right there, okay? Usually, we have 2 answers, and so you write it like this answer, right? But sometimes they write the 2 answers like this. So this plus or minus 5 is really a positive 5 and a negative 5. Does that kind of make sense right there? Okay. This right here is what freaks people out. This right here is 2 separate kind of problems. So this is a 5 plus the square root of 21/2 and 5 minus the square root of 21/2. Okay. So what are we doing? And they're doing these again? I haven't seen these since, well, it's been years since I've seen that. All right, there you go. We are on question 4. All right. So all this plus or minus means is that this is 2 separate kind of problems here. All right. And we'll talk about how we're going to deal with this. It's not all that bad. Can you what? A pencil? Oh, yeah, yeah. Does anybody else need a pencil? All right. So when we take a look at that, the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and type this in. All right. So we're just going to type this in right here. Or I'm sorry, we're going to type in the problem. So let's go back to the problem real quick. And we're going to type that in. So we'll go back and we're going to open up a brand new graph. And we're typing in the actual problem. So it's x squared minus 5x minus 1. All right, so my two answers are where they're touching the x-axis. So we're going to hit menu 5-1. And my first one is this negative 0.193. Now, I need you to write this on your paper. So you can't really do what we're about to do if you don't write these down. So you're going to write down, sorry, I got to write. All right, so you're going to write down on your paper, I'm looking for, I'll write it down right here. Actually, let me go to my paper so I know I can see this. All right, right there. So I've got a 0.193, and it was negative, wasn't it? Okay. And then I've got another answer, and the other answer is go around 5.19. 5.19. So my other answer is 5.19. So you've got to write these down in order to be able to do this. Now, immediately I can get rid of one of my answers. So this plus or minus 5 right here, well, those are decimals. It's definitely not A. So the rest of these all have this radical. Well, all year long, when we've had radicals, where have we done these radicals? Always in the calculator, right? So we're going to go type these into the calculator, okay? And we're going to see if it gives me these answers right here. So you're going to go to regular calculator, okay? I'm going to fix that real quick. All right, we're going to type in, I'm going to do my fraction bar first. So we're going to go control divide, and we're going to type in 5 plus 21 over 2. So I know this looks weird, but your calculator is going to deal with all this stuff right here, okay? We hit enter, and we get 4.79. Was that one of my decimals right there? No. So you can mark off B. It's definitely not B because this decimal doesn't match either one of my decimals. So now look at C. C is just like this, except it's got 29. Do y'all remember the copy and paste feature? Y'all remember it? Copy and paste is when you go up and highlight the problem, hit enter, and it pastes it down, and now you can change it. A lot easier to use that copy and paste, but you can retype C in. So I'm going to type in 29 right there and hit enter. 5.19, is that one of my decimals? Yes. Okay. So now I'm going to use the copy and paste feature again. Now this time, instead of a plus sign, what am I going to put here? A minus sign. So we hit enter. 0.19. Now it says 2.5. Do y'all remember how to round? So like there's a number right here. This, if it's 5 or bigger, it rounds the next number. Do y'all remember doing that? So this 5 right here makes this become a 3. Is that what we were looking for? 0.193? Yeah. So 0.193. So both of these match. C is my answer. So on the STAR test, the last few years, we have seen one question. Now, is one question going to keep us from passing? No. We've seen one question that's had a plus or minus with the radical, okay, the last few years. So in the end, if this doesn't make sense, guess C and move on with life, okay? Don't stress over it. I do think that there's a lot of y'all that can do this, though, okay? Now, these I expect us to be able to do. But if it has that plus or minus, and that's a little confusing how we type that in and stuff like that, then don't let that stress you out, okay? All right, we got 2 more of these, and then it's all review after this. Okay. So number 5, we cannot type this into graphs the way it looks right now. Why not? Yeah, it doesn't have that equals 0. Okay, there's no y equals. It doesn't fit any of these conditions. Okay. You could type this under insult, but it's only going to give you one answer. So that doesn't help. So what can we do? We can make this right here become a 0. And we've done something like this before. So if I want to get rid of this 5, I simply move it to the other side and change the sign. And we've done that before. So we're going to take this 5 and move it over here and make it a -5. Okay. And when you do that, this becomes a 0. Now you can type this into the calculator. So does everybody kind of see what we did there? Just took this and you move it to the other side, and when you move it, you make it change sign. So it went from a +5 to a -5. Now we can type this in because it is equal to 0. Maybe if your stupid computer works, you can type it in. All right, so we're going to graphs because it's equal to 0. And we're going to type in x squared. Nope, not minus. Plus x minus 5. Remember, you do not type the equal 0. All right, so we hit enter and we got our 2 answers. So menu 5-1. I had a great question today. I want to stop and talk about this for a second. Great question today. So the last few weeks, we've been doing stuff where we type in the problem and we type in the answers and see if it changes color, right? How do you know when you're supposed to hit menu 5-1 like you do on this one? And how do you know when you're supposed to change the color? Okay. The answer is, like, this looks like an equation, right? If my answers look like equations, then we type it in and match the color. But if my answers are just numbers, then we hit menu 5-1. Okay. So on this, we're going to hit menu 5-1, and then we're going to go find our 2 answers. So you can see one of my answers is a -2.79. So you can mark off A and B. And then the other one, now the other one you can tell is positive, so you should already know the answer by now. It's a +1.79. So the only one that has the +1.79 would be C, right? Is that what y'all got? C? Okay, good. I kind of forgot what I said y'all had to mark, y'all could mark off. All right, so the answer to this one should be C. All right. So number 6. Once again, you cannot type this in because it says -2. So what are we going to do? We're going to move it and make it a what? +2. That will make this become equal to 0. And now you can type that into your calculator. So these are definitely not quite as easy as when they're already set equal to 0. You know, they're not as easy as some of the stuff we've been doing. I think that there's a lot of us that can do this. If you can, it's not going to kill you. All right, so we're going to type in x squared minus 4x, and then +2. And then we're going to hit menu 5-1, and we're just looking for where it touches. So at 0.58, which rounds to 0.59, it is a positive. Matter of fact, both of my answers are positive. That probably gives away the answer right there, that they're both positive. So 0.59 would be either B or C. And then if we keep going around, 3.41, a positive, would be, looks like B, it would be your answer. All right. The next 2, I'm not going to do this on all these because Coach Shavers isn't here. So I'm not going to have time to walk around on all these. But I need to know if y'all know how to do these, okay? So first off, on number 7, they give you a picture, a graph, right? And then they give us y equals. So 2 letters make a y, right? All you have to do is to type this in and see if it matches this. Now, we talked about how do you know when you hit menu 5-1? Are we looking for any kind of points here? No. So all you should do is type it in. If it looks like it, that's great. Okay, that's your answer. If it doesn't look like it, try another one. So I'm going to walk around. I want to see y'all type in number 7 into your calculator. So this is going under graphs. Type this in, type in number 7. Type in number 7. It's going under graphs. So type number 7 in right here. Type in number 7. Number 7. There you go. Very good. So type in number 7 real quick. You're just typing those in. Tell me if it matches. So you're just going to type in under graphs and see if it matches. Very good. Very good. Robert, type this in real quick. There's only 2 I'm going to make y'all do today. So I just need to make sure. Type this in and just tell me if it matches that. So type in A real quick. Don't forget the X. One more. There you go. There you go. And then go back. Oh, yeah, you can just hit enter right there, can't you? Sorry. Okay, so you don't see anything. It definitely doesn't match that then, so it's not A. So start a brand new graph. So you heard me say it wasn't A, so try B. Did you get it? Very good, very good, very good. You forgot your X. So remember, this right here does not give you an X. So type that X in and then hit square. Okay. So just type that X. There you go. And then you can go all the way back. There you go. Right there. Oh, it's making that little. Delete one more. Delete one more. Delete. Delete. You gotta delete it. Nah. Go ahead and just delete the whole thing. It'll be easier. And then hit squared. There you go. Now it'll work. Minus 16x. Minus 29. Does that look like that? Yep. That's your answer right there. Got it. Did you get it? Okay, so you hit menu 5.1, but all we're doing is typing this in and matching, so you don't need to hit menu 5.1 on this. So if you type that in and it doesn't match it, we'll just move on to the next one. So type in the next one. Type that in for me. So, after you get these 2, and we'll talk. These 2. Those are the 2 I got to make sure y'all know how to do. So. Did you get it? I forgot to hit your X. One more. Oh, no, you're good. You're good. You're good. Does that match that? Do they look the same? Yeah. So if they look the same, that's all we're doing is just seeing if it looks the same. So, okay, yeah, give me 1 second and I'll kind of talk about number 8. Okay, so if you don't see anything, that's not the answer. So which one did you type in? Yeah. Okay, so work backwards. Try this one. Try. I want to see it. I got to see it in the calculator. Come on, show us that. You hit to the side. Okay, keep going. Yeah, so when you're typing it in, you hit squared, you don't have to hit to the side. It's only when you go back and forth that you need to. All right, so try B. Minus 16x. Oh, you didn't put the negative in. Not up front. Put the minus. Put in it. Does that look like that? Yep. Did you get it? Very good. All right. Okay, so what happened here is I think that like you hit menu 5-1, so it took you off the center. So really quick, when I hit menu 4-5, take you back to the center. That was your answer right there. So it says minus 16x minus 29. So on this right here, you wouldn't hit menu 5-1 because you want to stay right there to see if it matches. Does that make sense? All right. So all you had to do was to type this in. On this, you would not hit menu 5-1 because we weren't looking for like an x-intercept, a y-intercept. We weren't looking for points or numbers. When they give you equations and all you're doing is matching, you just type it in and see if it matches. All right, now this one right here. So once again, how do you know when you're going to hit menu 5-1 or when you're trying to make it change colors? Look at what we have here. They give you a y equals. We type that in. Your answers are all y equals. They're all equations. So when they're all equations, we're typing these in and seeing which one makes this change colors. So you're not going to hit menu 5-1 on this one. You're going to type this in, see what color it is, type these in, whichever one makes it change colors, that's your answer. Okay, this is the last one I'm going to walk around and check. Okay, so I need y'all to do this. So type in the original problem, then type in your answers, and I'm going to walk around and check this real quick. Okay, so type in the original problem, and then you'll type in your answers. Make sure you start brand new, unless that is the brand new. All right, so we're typing this in. Type that in, and then you're typing these in, see which one makes it change color. Okay. All right, you're typing this in. You're typing these in to see which one makes it change color. Did you figure this out? So did you type that in? Okay, good. So now you're going to type these in. And as long as you see blue, then you have not found your answer. So that's definitely not the answer. Does that make sense? And you just keep going, hit tab, and type in the next one. So, okay, very good, very good. Good. So, you're typing in the original problem. I don't know what's going on. I will say, if it's ever doing that, I would just start all over, and then it'll fix itself. You figured it out? There you go. Let's see. Very good on both of those. Very good, very good. So yeah, as long as you see blue, that's not the answer. So yeah, just go on to the next one. Type that one in. Made a change, so that's your answer. So which one do you? I don't see that on there. You got a 16 there. There's no 16.
No, that was the last one.
Oh, okay. Start all over. Start over. Or go delete that anyways, because you don't want all that on there. So tab. Okay. Did you figure that? Okay, so you type that one in. Oh. Okay, so this was the original one, right? All right, so we still need, so did you type that in? Oh, I'm sorry. This one right here. I got you. I'm sorry. I was like, I was totally lost. All right, so you got to type in the original.
I already did.
And then you got to type these in. And I know you didn't get that as your answer.
I know, I X'd it
Oh, that looks like you circled it. I was like, that's not the answer. Yeah. Okay. I guess you don't have to go to the bathroom any time today. You can sit in color. Come on, let's go. All right. So you show it to me whenever you're ready to go. All right. So for the rest of these, so we typed these in and found the one that matched. All right. So take a look at number 9. All right. So number 9, we did this yesterday. And remember, even if you don't remember the little trick to help you kind of eliminate some stuff, just start typing in the answers and check these 2 points. Somebody has their sound up. And so the trick to this, yeah, I think that is you. All right. So the trick to this is knowing that this is X and Y. So you put the X inside the parentheses with the X, but anytime it goes in parentheses, it changes signs, right? So this positive one would actually be a negative one. So it's either got to be A or C. The Y stays on the end, but because of the fact that it's not in parentheses, it's probably going to be A. Okay. And so we're just going to test this real quick. So we're going to go type this in and test it. So we got 5 parentheses X minus 1, those parentheses squared minus 4. And then you, okay, so on this one, I am hitting menu 5-1 because I'm looking for points. I'm not trying to look for an equation. So those of you who are struggling, when do you hit menu 5-1? When do you make it change? If you're looking for points, we're going to hit menu 5-1. So now we need to look for 1. So we're going to type 1, enter. All right, so 1, -4 is good. Is that the vertex? Yes, that's a vertex right there. And then we're going to type in 0, and 0, 1 is also good, and that just has to be a point anyway. So A is definitely our answer right there. All right, number 10. Now, we've been doing x-intercepts, y-intercepts, vertex, all that kind of stuff, but we haven't been doing them in the calculator. So I'm looking for a y-intercept, but we've got to type this in. So you got to go plug this into your calculator. And we're typing in 3x squared minus 12x plus 16. Hit enter. All right, so when we hit menu 5-1, because we're looking for a y-intercept, also, if you look at your answers, they're all points. So menu 5-1, it always goes to the y-intercept first. So this is the y-intercept right here. It's on the y-axis. So the answer should be 0, 16. Okay, because that is, it won't always do that, but when you hit menu 5-1, the first point it goes to is always the y-intercept. All right, so that was 0, 16. So that would be D. All right, so we're typing in this one right here, but this one's looking for a vertex. We're going to type in minus 5x squared plus 3, hit enter. Now, in this case, we kind of got lucky. The vertex and the y-intercept are the same thing. So is that the vertex right there? Yeah, so the vertex is 0, 3. Now, you could have marked off 2 answers right at the beginning. There was no way it could have been C and no way it could have been D. A vertex is always the X and the Y. So the answer should have been B. All right. Now, number 12, this is what we've been doing a lot of. So y'all should have done this one quickly. Axis of symmetry. has to be x equals. So it's not B, A and B. And then symmetry splits it in half. What number did we hit? 1. So the answer would be D. So super easy question. Number 13, x and y intercepts. Where does it touch x-intercept? Where does it touch the x-axis? -3. That doesn't say -3. Nope. The answer looks like it should be D. Is the y-intercept 2? Yep, y-intercept right there. Where it touches. So it's where it, x-intercept where it touches the x-axis, y-intercept where it touches the y-axis. All right, so once again, x-intercept. So they give us an equation, we got to go type this in. X-intercepts is where it touches the x-axis. We got negative x squared minus 8x minus 13. All right, so you can see it touches here and here, but I can't tell exactly where it's at. So we're gonna have to hit menu 5-1, go up to our x-axis. So one of the x-intercepts is negative 2.27. So you can mark off D. And then the other one is negative 5.73. So it looks like the answer has got to be A. So really easy. It's just you've got to be able to type it into the calculator and know what you're looking for. This is the one everybody will miss. Matter of fact, can y'all tell me what 2 answers I should mark off immediately? If you can, you might get this right. A, definitely, that's axis of symmetry. And C, this is vertex. This is the one everybody wants to choose, okay? But this is vertex right here. So we're gonna go type in this right here. So we'll type in minus 2x squared plus 4x plus 1. And then, so maximum, you could probably just look at it and tell me the answer, just like it was a sheet of paper. Y'all are getting really good at knowing you go to the y-axis right here. So you could, it'd probably be easiest to look at that and say that's 1, 2, 3 right there. But if you go up to the top, this is why kids choose C as their answer. But remember, we only want the y coordinate, just that 3 right there. So that's the one that kids tend to miss. All right, take a look at 16. And we're typing in 3x squared plus 3. Hitting menu 5-1. All right, so it's a minimum. So immediately, if it's a minimum, we're going to mark off A. We're going to mark off C because that's a vertex right here. So it's got to be one of those 2. And if it is a minimum, we want the y coordinate. So the y coordinate right here would be 3. 1, 2, 3. And then the last one is axis of symmetry. You do not even have to type this in because the only one that has the proper answer is what? D is the only one that has x equals.